Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to a great BookTube event, People April. This was created by Roz at Scallydandling About the Books and Elizabeth at Bookends and Books, and it is designed to celebrate life writing, memoirs, autobiographies, and also full-dress biographies, my favorite kind of writing. And although People April is a great BookTube event, there's also now a serious question about whether or not it's also a cursed BookTube event. Every single time there's a People April, Roz, for instance, commemorates the occasion by breaking a bone. and so on and so forth. And my own reading in 2024 for People April, an event that dare not call itself People, has been mostly bad. Mostly blah or boring. So the other day, I declared the event cursed and also pointed out the obvious, which is that an event that actually is cursed would be just about the coolest BookTube event of them all. But I was still wondering if it is true. And the biography that I added to last night's reading has turned the tide just a bit because it was terrific. It's Carrie Courage's book, Miss May Does Not Exist. It's a biography of Elaine May, which I wouldn't have thought was possible. Elaine May was an amazingly talented stand-up comedian, improv comedian, speaker, writer, an elusive figure who very much wants to be elusive. It's amazing to me that she gave this author the access that must have been necessary to make this book. But all the access in the world wouldn't have made this work if Carrie Corrigan had not also had something of Elaine May's particular attitude, the particular unsleeping wit. That not all the research in the world would have worked if that hadn't been there, and it is here. It is here all throughout my book, all throughout this book. It's terrific. I thought it was just fantastic. So it did a lot to fix the currents of People April. This is certainly the best book that I've read so far for biography in April. Even though it has a couple of the weaknesses that usually make me wary. I'm usually not a big fan of biographies of people who are still alive, people who actively participated in them. I really want a biographer to dig into the subject as a subject. Research. Fine by me if you want to interview people who knew the person, but I don't want them there anymore. Calling those people before and after the interview, coaching them on what they're going to say. I want them to be, cold in their graves. And then you can do the research, even if the living environment is still there. And also, another caveat to a book like this is how intentionally elusive Elaine May has been about any kind of treatment like this. It's a weird relationship with self-regard and with the regard of the public that is bound to make researching and then writing a book like this extra complicated in ways that might be interesting in your memoir down the line, but won't be interesting in the finished product of the book itself. They'll only serve in the book itself to make me wonder on every page how much of this is subterfuge. And I don't know, I didn't get that impression when I was reading this book. Maybe I'm just being taken for a ride, but I really loved it. It really almost read at times like this was Elaine May's own book, only not in a bad way, not in a way that would undercut its objectivity. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I got the real sensation throughout here that the author and her subject were on the same wavelength, which is fine by me. You would think maybe it wouldn't be. It's fine by me as long as it's a team up between the writer and the artist the subject of the book is still alive and could easily write their own book or show favor to a different author with a different take. It's fine by me as long as all that, the soup is still warm, so to speak. After that, I don't want to read so much. I don't so much want to read a book that where the author thinks they're sharing the same wavelength as the subject once the subject has passed into the hands of history. But that isn't true, so this was weird and wonderful. It's funny, which is a saving grace. Imagine, I don't know how many of you know the figure of Elaine May, but the idea of a biography of her that isn't funny is just, it's almost too hard to contemplate. But also this was really good at scene setting. the whole world of the 20th century writing world, the 20th century comedy world, 20th century art world. Just they're all Elaine May intersects with a whole bunch of worlds. There are a whole bunch of anecdotes in a whole range of books where you're ambling through the anecdote, and the last person you're expecting is Elaine May, and then she shows up. She shows up in the back room. She's in the back of the room. She's got a private audience of her own, and everyone wants to know what she's talking about. Everywhere, in all kinds of environments. Well, that happens repeatedly, and the scenes, the environments of those conversations are done really well. This author evokes them really well. This, in other words, could have been a biographical sketch of Elaine May in which Elaine May did not participate at all. It would still have been really good reading from start to finish. So, temporarily anyway, the curse of People April has been halted. I picked this at random. I'm going to pick at random again tonight. It would be really nice if tonight's read were also really good. This is a recommend. And we'll just see. We'll see if tonight can duplicate this act. That would be great. More than anybody else, maybe even more than the event's own creators. I want an event about biography to work. I don't want it to be. I'm looking back at my reading year, and the worst month of all for reading biographies was April. I don't want that to be true. So here's hoping. I will pick at random. I will report back. I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.